Tim, my dear son, this is going to sound strange, but there's this family secret that the men in the family can travel in time.
This is such a weird joke.
It's not a joke.
For me, it was always going to be all about love.
How do you feel like this film is different from other romantic films that you've done?
Well, what I like about this film is that the central characters, the love story, doesn't crumble at any point, really. They find each other and that's it. You know, it's like they're together for life, and you just watch them then deal with the curveballs that life throws their way, and you watch them kind of become stronger and stronger because of them.
What inspired you to write this film?
I was inspired to write the film by a conversation with a friend about whether or not we were happy, and we both decided that our lives were good, but we weren't enjoying them as much as we should. And that if you wanted to be happy, the answer was not, you know, fly to Las Vegas, date a supermodel, win $1 million. Happiness probably was what we were doing, just having, you know, lunch with each other. And then I thought, that's too simple. I'll make it a sci-fi movie, and then if the person who can travel in time decides that's what matters, then it might be interesting.
What was it about this film that made you want to be a part of it?
It's Richard Curtis. I've worked with him a lot. I've worked with him, I think, 4 times now, and I admire him as much as I admire anyone in the world on every level. And I like the film. I like the fact that it's a positive film about people, and I like the fact that it celebrates the so-called ordinary things, or the small things, which in fact turn out to be the big things and the important things.
Why did you feel that this song fit the film?
Richard, fan of the song, and really gets it. I mean, he used the song in a way that, you know, was news to me. Like, I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Were any of the characters based off of anyone that you know?
I'm always a little bit there myself. I had, you know, orange, unattractive hair when I was 21, like Donal, so there's a little bit of me there. And then I can see that there's the Bill character is really interesting me, because it's a little bit of me as well, because I'm now a father of 4, but then it's also a bit about my dad, and the father and son played table tennis, which my father and I did from the age of 6 to when I was 26.
I am somebody's father, and I've been somebody's son, so, you know, and in retrospect, I suppose it does, I hope, to some degree, honour my father, because my father was not unlike the father in the film. You know, he was a very decent, quiet, reserved kind of guy, but a remarkable man in his way.
What was the most powerful scene for you to film in this movie?
The stuff when Bill's character gets sick, and all of that was tough. I mean, I know it's just a movie, but Bill's such a lovely guy, and we all fell in love with him instantly. So, and he's so convincing. I found myself very emotional on those days. There's a scene where I had to say goodbye to him, and I was literally like, I wasn't supposed to cry in the scene, and I was crying, and I was like, okay, you gotta get it together here.
I think the relationship between the father and the son, between Tim and father, was the kind that not everyone's lucky enough to have. It was their best friends. They totally bring out the best of each other, and it seems it's effortless. Those scenes are effortless. They're just so well done. I thought those were very powerful.
Towards the end of the movie, when I am dying, and I have to deal with it with my son, and particularly the one where he comes to tell me that this is the last time he can travel back in time to be with me. Those were kind of big days.
Yeah, that part was definitely a tearjerker.
Yeah,
but you did a great job. It was really beautiful.
Thank you.
What would you do if you could travel back in time?
If I could travel back in time, I would say to the person who first offered me a cigarette, "Are you out of your mind?"
I don't think that I would.
Okay.
And I think that's what the movie's about, really.
Right.
You know, even though everyone can go back, or these 2 characters can go back in time, I don't think that's not what they really choose. The audience doesn't choose that anymore. The audience chooses to make the most out of your day.
I don't know what I'd change, and I don't think there's anything I would change, because there's so much. I would either change everything or nothing, and I think I'll go for nothing, because it's most of my early life was such a mess, and every decision I could get wrong, I got wrong. So you know, but it all ended up okay, so I'm going to leave it.
What do you hope that viewers will take from this movie?
What they seem to be taking, apart from that everybody leaves the theatre and phones their dad, is the fact that, you know, just eager to make the most of tomorrow. You know, just eager not to get distracted again and lose today. Not to have your time stolen by all that unnecessary activity in your head, which is certainly my, speaking personally, I've lost many days. You get to the end of the day and you think, hang on, I think I missed that day. You know, I was worrying about yesterday, or I was involved in some imaginary tomorrow. You know, and you miss all the good stuff, the beauty that's around you.
Rich and I were talking about this, that, you know, if you could go back and live one day over again, would you really go back and do something that wild and crazy? Probably not. Like, you'd go back and hang out with your family and, you know, be with the people that you love and just have a normal day. And I think that's such a good lesson. We think we should be doing more than we are in every moment. And, you know, shouldn't we be filling our days with something spectacular? And it's like, well, maybe the ordinary can be extraordinary, you know, every day. I love that. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree.
love the way you said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's-
it's Richard.
Yeah.
You're just stealing all his
It
material.
sounded so
right
good
now.
coming out of your mouth.
It is a film sort of with a message, which is, one, call your dad,
Right.
or if you're a dad, call your son or your daughter. But also, I think the movie's meant to be saying, just look at the normal days of your life and see whether or not you can relish and enjoy them, because the so-called special days don't happen very often and are mainly scary.
Right.
So it's really a film about, you know, learning. My dad used to say, you can't be happier than happy. So if you're happy, enjoy it. Don't think, oh, but if I work a bit harder, I'll make more money or get more successful. Just try and love the life you lead.
That's a great message.
I definitely took that from this film. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I adored your character.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh, well, thank
It
you.
was so great.
We loved it, and we did call our dads. I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, good, good.
There's so many more questions I would love to ask you, but we are out of time. You're fabulous.
You are
Oh,
fabulous.
That was so
Thanks,
fun to
guys.
meet you.
You too.
You're so beautiful and real in person. It was just like, yay.
Try to live every day as if it was the final day of my extraordinary, ordinary life.
I hope I see you again.
You will. My whole life depends on it.
What are you?
Well, surprise, surprise, I'm a cat. This has been like my go-to costume since I was a little girl. I've always loved being a cat.
I love it.
And I go right back to it.
You look amazing.
Oh, kitty cat, meow, meow.
Yes, and this is what I've been. So I've probably been this about 12 times.
Okay.
Halloween, I'm like an angel. Like, it works.
You are just an
It's a
angel.
very-
You know
An
what I'm
angel
saying?
from heaven.
Mm-hmm.